Hi, this is going to be another video where I show my vinyl collection, and we are doing this alphabetically. I am in the C's right now. First album by The Cars, Candio. This one is definitely a dip in quality from the first two Cars albums. It's a little bit more new wave-ish, but I still like it. Shake It Up. And the last truly great Cars album, Heartbeat City. Cars' greatest hits. And then one of their more underrated albums, Door to Door. This is Harry Chapin. This has got the song Cats in the Cradle on it. And I Want to Learn a Love Song. I think those are the two biggest ones off of here. But still a great album. And then this has the track Taxi on it, if you couldn't already guess by the border around that photograph. It also has well, nothing else that I recognize. I haven't listened to that album all that much, obviously, but I am a big Harry Chapin fan. I do know everything off of here, though. This is a great live album. This was a double disc live album. It was one of the albums that my dad had growing up, one of those live albums that he would play over and over and over again. This is Chicago's first album when they were called Chicago Transit Authority. Chicago's second album. Chicago's third album. Never quite sure why Chicago didn't put something different on the back of their albums. Why the front had to look the same as the back. This was the Live at Carnegie Hall box set. This was Chicago 5. Chicago 6 with somewhat of a hype sticker there. Chicago 7. Starting to lose track now. 8. One of the best greatest hits compilations, I think, of any band. Just fabulous from start to finish. Not a weak track on here. One of my absolute favorite greatest hits albums. This was Chicago 10. And the last album with Terry Kath, Chicago 11. This is History of Eric Clapton. It's a double album. It's got stuff from late 60s, early 70s. This is 461 Ocean Boulevard. Slow Hand. Bruce Cockburn, Stealing Fire. Joe Cocker's first album with a little help from my friends. That doesn't look, I don't know, just something that doesn't even look like Joe Cocker. Maybe it's just the angle or the way his mouth is just taking up almost the entire picture, but you're never going to convince me that's Joe Cocker. It actually looks more like Jim Belushi or John Belushi than it does Joe Cocker, but whatever. This is his second album, self-titled. Fantastic album. This is Joe Cocker's greatest hits. Nat King Cole, Ramblin' Rose. John Coltrane, the 180-gram version of Blue Train. Judy Collins. This has a cover of the Rolling Stones' Salt of the Earth and also Send in the Clowns. I remember my dad had this album growing up, and I just have a real nostalgic fondness for it. Phil Collins. That, of course, has In the Air Tonight on it. This has I Don't Care Anymore. And, well, actually, I should mention this also has a cover of Tomorrow Never Knows. And then this also, apart from I Don't Care Anymore, it's got a cover of You Can't Hurry Love. And Yeah, I don't think there was anything else noteworthy off that one. And then maybe his most popular solo album, No Jacket Required. This is the 12-inch single for Take Me Home. This is Julian Cope. It's got the song World Shut Your Mouth on it, which I was introduced to in college. Elvis Costello's first album, My Aim Is True. This is this year's model, Armed Forces. This is actually the front cover, supposed to be the original front cover of the UK album. They slapped it on the back here and did some kind of artsy cover for this one. This is another fabulous album. And I believe the British cover actually had like a coffee stain, like the imprint of the bottom of a coffee cup on here, but the US version does not. Trust. This is a compilation of leftover tracks and B-sides, Taking Liberties, which was an American-only release, I believe. This was his country album, even though it's called Almost Blue and it looks like a jazz cover, it's actually all country covers. Imperial Bedroom. This is where he kind of got a little into 80s new wave pop. Punch the Clock. And that was Goodbye Cruel World. This is his greatest hits. King of America, his first solo album. Well, technically his first album was his first album without the Attractions. This was his second album without the Attractions backing him up. This was Blood and Chocolate. And he leaves the Attractions behind for 2 albums, this being the first. And this has some collaborations with Paul McCartney on here, on Veronica, and the song Baby Plays Around. This is John Cougar. And then John Cougar Mellencamp. Cream, Wheels of Fire. Creedence Clearwater Revival, Bayou Country. And Creedence Clearwater Revival, Green River. These are all original pressings. This was William the Poor Boys. Cosmo's Factory. And Pendulum. This was somewhat of a hits compilation called Shuglin. And then Creedence Gold. This is actually kind of die cut. Each one of these opens up. Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Best of Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young so far. This was CS&N, I think was the name of this album. And Daylight Again. And American Dream. Crowded House, one of my favorite albums from the 80s, just a great debut album. This had the great single Don't Dream It's Over and Something So Strong. All right, no judging here. Pure nostalgia. The only reason I have this, I saw these, they were super cheap, and nostalgia got the best of me. So again, if I were to do an episode about vinyl that I'm most embarrassed about, it might be these next 2. But they still have the hype sticker. They're still in the shrink. I mean, it was too good to pass up. All right. This is The Cure, the top. The Cure singles collection, Standing on a Beach. This is the 12-inch of Why Can't I Be You by The Cure. And then this is a British band, and they were kind of, they had a semi-hit with a song called Misfit. They're a little like jazzy, like R&B kind of, but in a British sort of way. I don't know how to describe it, but I've always had, this album came out in 1987. I've always just had a soft spot for it. And I found a promo copy of it cheap, so I picked it up. They look like a boy band, but they're really not. The sound is nothing like that. It's just got it's almost like Simply Red, I guess might be the nearest comparison I would make. So that is my C's. I never promised I had a huge vinyl collection, but I just figured, what the hell, I'm going to do the vinyl collection alphabetically. So anyway, we'll see. Maybe I'll do the D's, see how much longer I keep it going. But I appreciate you watching, and everybody take care.